Forecasting effort. Product backlog. The product backlog is the plan, it's all the work the team need to do to create the product. It's an ordered and prioritized list of work to do to create the team output. The product owner decides on the order, but takes input from the development team. Backlog items are ordered by value, determined by risk, uncertainty, learning, dependencies. The product backlog is detailed appropriately, estimated, emergent, and prioritized. The developers estimate the product backlog. Issues with estimating. In 1979, Kahneman and Tversky found that human judgment is generally optimistic due to overconfidence and insufficient consideration of distributional information about outcome. There is a human tendency for us to want to please others, and in so doing we bias our estimates optimistically in the name of pleasing our stakeholders. External forces such as budget, customer deadlines, completion, and so on, pressure us to complete things as quickly as possible and so adversely influence estimates. Often, there is an irrational demand for very precise estimates in the face of a lack of clarity about outcome required and the inevitable changes to both the need and in the world in which the estimated endeavor will occur. Comparative estimating. Comparative estimating, especially where it involves collaborative techniques, is designed to avoid some of the issues described. Rather than expressing effort in time-based units, comparative estimating requires us to express it as a multiple of that of a baseline item. Either a known, low-effort job, known because it has been done, or a well-understood, low-effort job, one for which the outcome is clear and unambiguous. The work needed to achieve the outcome is known and straightforward. The effort can be estimated with a high level of precision and confidence. Story point estimating. It is the most widely used comparative estimating approach in Agile. It uses a nonlinear, Fibonacci-like sequence of story points to deal with reduced precision associated with increasing size. To reduce low-value debate associated with unsustainable precision. That is translated to time or effort-based values after estimating is complete. Supports. The planning poker technique combines comparative estimating using story points and the collaborative wideband Delphi technique for gaining group consensus. Affinity-based estimating is a faster, simpler alternative using story points. Story point estimating may be used even if product backlog items are not expressed as user stories. Affinity estimating. Sometimes called bucket estimating. As with planning poker, it is a Fibonacci-like sequence used to cluster items requiring similar effort. It is a low-effort, known and well-understood item is used as a baseline. Various techniques are used to allocate backlog items to buckets or columns of items as shown here. All involve the discussion of stories where required to achieve consensus. Discussion is more limited than with planning poker. Exercise: estimate the effort. Take some time to choose an item on the lower end of the scale and place it under 1 or 2. Go for an item 2 or 3 times as large or 1/2 or 1/3, don't go too far up the scale too quickly. Take an item off the product backlog and place it under an estimate 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 20, 40, 100. Once all the cards are out, feel free to move a card to a larger or smaller estimate. Go until items stop moving. If a card keeps moving a lot, try to identify why that might be. Velocity. Assigning long-term estimates to Scrum teams allows us to forecast. Velocity is a useful long-term measure of the amount of work completed to done per sprint. If a product backlog item isn't complete to done, the velocity does not include the forecasted point effort for that story. Because it is a forecast and may take longer than expected, and velocity will go up and down anyway. It is a forecasting technique, not a productivity management approach. A burn-up chart is a visual representation of your project's progress that highlights the work completed, the total project work. It's an easy way for agile project managers to track what's been completed against their total scope of work. This makes it easy to estimate if things are going according to plan or not. A burn-up chart shows the quantity of work, your story points, represented on the vertical axis, y-axis. Your total project time, sprints, represented on the horizontal axis, x-axis. In addition to the two axes, there are two lines present in the burn-up chart. The green line shows the best performance thus far. The brown line shows the average performance. The purple line here shows the worst or slowest performance. The dotted line is the total work line and represents the total work you have to do, your project scope. Here we can see the project nearing completion. The done line looks set to continue on the same trajectory for the next 3 months, following the average progress path. Done in an IT environment happens only after a number of steps have been completed within the sprints. Development. Unit tested with peer review. Test passes acceptance criteria. Business and UX review and product owner review. Acceptance and integration test. User acceptance is tested. Integration is tested and performance is tested. Staging and pre-production. Operational testing. Final security and penetration testing. Live/production. In use, working towards desired outcomes.